Okay, today we are moving on to 8.3, which is surface area of pyramids. So last class, you guys did 8.2, which was surface area of prisms. So in my opinion, pyramids are actually easier because there's less steps involved. So you can see this is an example of a square pyramid, and all that means is that it's a pyramid with a square base. Okay, so we have our square pyramid, and if we unfold it, we have our net. As you can see, the bottom, the bottom is a square, and then the sides are all triangles. But all four of the sides are the same. Okay, so all you're finding is the area of the bottom and then the area of one of the sides, and then you multiply it by 4 because they are all the same. Okay. So on this first example, we have, remember, you can either look at the square pyramid solid or the net. It's whatever's easiest for you. And you need to make sure you label, okay, to make it easier when you are showing your work, because you are going to have to show your work on the homework assignment. Okay, so I can either look here at the bottom or I can look here. Okay, either way, I know it's a square. So if I write bottom over here and it's a square, that means all sides are the same. So to find the area of it, I'm just going to do 7 times 7. Okay. So 7 times 7 equals 49. And you can use a calculator if you need it. Okay. So the bottom is 49 meters squared. So the bottom is done. And now all I have are the sides. You can label them sides. You can label them triangle. I'm going to label them sides. Because on the next page, you might get confused if you do label them triangles. So I would just go ahead and label them sides. Okay. So now we have one of our triangles. Okay. And you can look, remember, either side or either diagram. Okay. So even though there's not a number right here, we know that the base is a square, so it has to be 7. All of the sides, all of those edges are 7. Okay? And it gives us our height, which is 10. Remember, it has to create that right angle. And there it is right there. So our base is 7 and our height is 10. And to find the area of a triangle, please write this because it's what you're going to forget. 1/2 times base times height. So it's the same as a rectangle. You're just taking half of it. Okay? So for the sides, we have 1/2 times 7 times 10. Okay? Now you can do this a variety of ways, but I'm going to take half of 10 because I know that off the top of my head that it's 5. And so we get 5 times 7, which is 35. Okay? So that's the area of just one side. That's the area of this. I still have 3 more, and so there's 4 altogether, so I'm going to multiply that by 4. And when you put that in your calculator, you should get 140 meters squared. Okay. So we got all of our sides equal 140 meters squared, and our bottom equals 49 meters squared. So we have to add those together, and you should get 189 meters squared. Okay. So this lesson is less steps. You just have to remember to use your triangle formula for the triangles and your square formula for the squares. Okay, and you got to figure out how much you're going to multiply by. Okay. All right, next, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find the surface area of it, except it doesn't have a net, so we have to use our solid. Okay. So I'm going to start with the bottom, and I'm going to label it bottom. So we're going to have the bottom, and we're going to have the sides. Okay, the bottom is a square. Okay, so if this front side is 2 feet, that means this side has to be 2 feet as well since it's a square. So to find the area of the bottom of it, we're going to do base times height, which is 2 times 2, which equals 4. We don't multiply that by anything because there's only one bottom. There's only one square on here. So it's just 4 feet squared. So the bottom is done, and now we have our triangles and our sides. Okay, I'm going to outline it. So it shows us that the height is 3, okay, because there's our right angle. And so we have to figure out what is right here. Hopefully you're getting this down and you know that it is 2 because it's a square on the bottom. So that side has to be 2. Okay. So we would have 1/2, because it's a triangle, times 2 times 3. Well, I know that half of 2 is 1. So we get 1 times 3, which is 3 feet squared. Okay. You also could have done 3 times 2, which is 6, and then half of 6 is 3. You could have done it that way as well. Okay. So what am I going to multiply this 3 by? You have to figure out how many sides there are. And since it's a square on the bottom, that means there's 4 sides. So there's 4 triangles coming up to it, just like this top one. So we do 3 times 4, since there's 4 sides, and that equals 12 feet squared. So all of our triangles add up to 12 feet squared, and our bottom is 4 feet squared. And when we add those together for the very last step, we get 16 feet squared. All right, let's flip the page over. So we are doing the same thing, except now it's a triangular pyramid instead of a square pyramid, which means the only difference is that the bottom is a triangle, and instead of there being 4 sides, there's going to be 3, okay? And you can see right here in the net, the bottom is a triangle, and there's 3 sides that are exactly the same. Oh my goodness, what did I do? Okay, so there's 3 sides that are the exact same and a bottom. So now we are only using the triangular formula, okay? So you need to be paying attention to what the base is, if it's a square or if it is a triangle. Okay. So on this first example, so we can see our bottom right there and right there. So we're doing the same thing. I'm going to start with the bottom. And then I'm going to have sides. So on these, you need to pay attention when you have your triangle to what is your base and what is your height. Oops. Remember, it always needs to have that right angle, okay? Which is right there and right there. Okay? So I can see that my base is 6, and my height is creating the right angle, and so it's 5.2. This 8 feet is on a whole nother triangle, okay? This 8 feet has nothing to do with our bottom right now. Okay? So for the bottom, it is a triangle, so we're going to have 1/2 times our base, which is 6, times our height, which is 5.2. I'm going to move this down because we're going to need more room. Okay, so I know that half of 6 is 3. So we get 3 times 5.2. And go ahead and put that in your calculator. And you should get 15.6 feet squared. Even though it's a triangle, it's still our bottom, and there's no other triangle that looks like it on our shape. So that means we're done with that. We don't multiply it by 2 or 3 or anything like that. We just leave it be. So next, we have our sides. Okay. So now, I'm looking at this right here. Okay. So the triangle on the bottom is an equilateral triangle, which means that all the sides are the same. So that means this base is 6 feet, and the one back there is 6 feet. Okay. So my base is 6 feet for this triangle, and my height is going straight up. It's 8. So we're going to have 1/2 times 6, which is our base, times 8, which is our height. Well, I know that 1/2 of 6 is 3, so we get 3 times 8, which equals 24. Okay. Take a second, figure out what are we going to multiply that by. We are going to multiply it by 3 because if you look over here, there are 3 sides that are exactly the same. So we do 24 times 3, and we get 72 feet squared. Now, all we do is add those together. So we get 72 plus 15.6, and we get 87.6 feet squared. Okay. All right, last question. If you want to try it on your own, you can pause it. If you're struggling, then just follow along. So, first thing I look at is my base a triangle or a square? It is a triangle. So I'm going to have bottom, and I'm going to have sides. Okay. Both of these, or every single shape on here is a triangle, so I'm going to have 1/2 on both. Okay. So if we're starting with our bottom, I can see my base is 9, and my height is this line going down the middle, because that's what creates the right angle, and that is 7.8. So we have 1/2 times 9 times 7.8. You can put all of these into your calculator if you would like. You can put 1/2 times 9 times 7.8. Just remember, multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2. So it's basically 9 times 7.8 divided by 2. So I'm going to put that in my calculator, and we get 1/2 times 9 times 7.8, and we get 35.1 inches squared. That's a really big one. Here we go. For the bottom, we do not multiply it by anything because there's not another triangle on there that is the exact same. So then my sides, okay, we can look at this side right here, or you can look at this one on the left. It does not matter which one you look at. Okay. But I can see my base is 9, but I have to figure out what my height is. Just remember, my height goes directly up. It would create a right angle, and I can see over on this left side that my height is 7. So there's a 7 right there. So this one is going to be 1/2 times 9, because that's our base, times 7, because that's our height. Now I know 9 times 7 is 63, so I just need to find 1/2 of 63. So in my calculator, I'll do 63 divided by 2, which is 31.5. And there's lots of different ways you could have done it. You could have put the entire thing in your calculator. You could have taken 1/2 of 9 first and got 4.5 and then multiplied by 7. It's completely up to you. So now I have 31.5 inches squared, and I have to figure out what do I multiply by. Okay. My base is a triangle, so that means 3 sides, which means I'm going to multiply by 3. And when I put that in my calculator, I do 31.5 times 3, and I get 94.5 inches squared. Let me know if you have questions. You can email me. You can come see me next week after break. Just let me know if you have questions.